Hey folks, it's Tom at FrugalPrepper. So my last video on, a carnivore has a stroke and goes keto. I've gotten a lot of comments on that. So I know why a lot of carnivores are really anti-keto or anti-cheating on the carnivore diet, and it's because they found a diet that works for them, and that's great. And they are really mentally trying not to cheat and to stick with it and stay with it and lose the weight and keep getting healthier. And I totally get that. So let me first of all address this. I'm out of breath. Well, I did used to be a smoker, but even back then I was not out of breath. My lungs are fine. My lungs are good and healthy. But I have a submucous cleft palate and a split uvula. So I actually went through like 12 to 15 years of speech therapy to be able to talk. And it's actually been a bit of a learning experience all over again to learn how to talk since the stroke, because my tongue doesn't quite work the way it did before, but I'm getting through it. So I did have a stroke. My blood pressure hit like 260s, 270s, and I had a stroke. And I've always had problems with high blood pressure, but my blood pressure had come down to the 160s, 170s, and then it just decided to spike up, and I had a stroke. But yeah, so there's that. So the other thing is like, well, if you're constipated, you just need to eat more fat. Eat more fat. We're going to get into that. I had a stroke. I had a clot buster within a half hour of the stroke onsetting. So not as bad of a stroke as I could have had, or a lot of people have, but it's been bad, and it's affected my balance. It's affected my speech because it's affected my tongue, and my face over here is a little numb now, and I have to make my syllables very special ways because I have a submucous cleft palate. And it's kind of like learning how to speak all over again. I had trouble walking at first. I had to have a walker, for the first 8 hours after they give you the clot buster, not even allowed to get out of bed. And then I was seeing everything double. My vision was all messed up. So my vision is back to like 100% now. I had my stroke on October the 12th. And it's now December the 11th, or no, it's December the 12th today. So yeah. I'm walking, I'm keeping my balance better. I lose my balance a little when I close my eyes. And I'm starting to drive a little bit through very like parking lots and things like that with another driver. I haven't really hit the main roads yet, right? I'm making sure that I'm good to go. I'm doing the rehab. My balance assessment came back almost, not normal, but it way improved. It was really improved. So there's that. So I said that I started eating a salad because I was constipated. And people were like, well, you just need to eat more fat. If you're constipated, eat more fat. Okay. Number one is I have no gallbladder. I had severe pancreatitis, so I was in the intensive care for a while. They took it out. And I can't eat that much fat. Like I can't eat more fat than I do now. I do take ox bile, and I eat as much fat as I want, and it tastes good. But I couldn't like just eat a whole stick of butter. I would get sick from that. And that's not the problem anyway. So the reason I'm constipated is because there's a medication that I take called losartan. One of the side effects of it can be that it constipates you. And some people it constipates worse than others, but it's a known side effect, and it basically makes that poop feel like it's glued to my intestines and it's not coming out for nothing, and it's painful and you have cramps and you can't get it out, and It's a nightmare. It took 6 doses of Miralax, 2 doses of X-Lax, multiple doses of stool softeners, and 2 days to get it out. And it was painful the whole time. And I don't ever want to be constipated like that again. So I eat salad. I have a salad, and I like salad. And I have a nice big salad every day. And people are like, well, you don't want that. Cellulose or fiber's going to make you more constipated. Fiber does not make you more constipated. Fiber actually helps. But there's 2 kinds of fiber. There's insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. And insoluble fiber, like found in salad, that comes from cellulose that your body can't digest. You eat it, it goes through, you poop it out. And you don't use it, that's actually helps. Number one is that when you're on carnivore, pure carnivore, you only go poop every 2 to 3 days. Well, guess what? I'm on a medication that's sucking all the moisture out of that poop in my colon. It's sucking it out, it's making it rock hard and it's not moving. Right? What do you want? What don't you want to happen? You don't want to have it sitting there for 2 or 3 days. You want to keep things moving. There's no better way to do that than to eat salad. That keeps things moving. Now, soluble fiber is a whole different story. And yes, it can absorb moisture and it can plug things up, and it can, it can cause some constipation. But insoluble fiber, for me anyway, it does not. And as far as I know, for most people, it does not. I don't eat it because I think the plants are super healthy and there's a bunch of bioavailable nutrients in there. No, there's not. Plants are not normally necessary in the human diet. But they're bad for you. I don't think they're necessarily bad for you. Now, eating a lot of dark leafy greens that are high in oxalates can be bad for you. But eating iceberg lettuce, even romaine lettuce, isn't bad. And putting some cherry tomatoes, some onions, and some cucumbers on it, that's not really that bad. I make my own dressing. I put a video up on how I make that dressing. It's from whole ingredients. I'm very careful about trying to keep things pure. Like, I cook things that I make myself out of as whole of ingredients as I can possibly get. I don't buy refined stuff with high fructose corn syrup and soybean oil and all kinds of crap in it, and maltodextrin and monosodium glutamate, and I don't even know what all those things mean. I just rather not have them in my diet in my life. I do make bread, right? I make bread for my family, but I make it with 4 ingredients: water, flour, salt, and yeast. I let it sit in a bowl and rise or proof or whatever for 14 to 16 hours so the yeast eat up a whole bunch of that sugar and glutenize the bread. And once in a while, I have a piece of that. It's good. Doesn't raise my blood sugar very much at all. I mean, as much as a normal meal will. But I don't have it that often. But my family likes bread, and that's way better than, Little Miss Sunbeam bread or whatever they got. It's way better than that. So, way better for them than that. My family's not diabetic. They're not unhealthy. They're not metabolically challenged. They're not, they don't have any medical problems. So they eat what they eat, and I eat what I eat. But as they've come to not having as many refined foods, they do feel better. So that's why I'm eating the fiber, to pass that through, right? As far as not being a carnivore, well, carnivore is different for everybody. There's some people that say as long as you eat 70-75% meat, you're carnivore. There's other people that say you have to eat only beef, a lion diet to be 100% carnivore. And I get that. And if that works for you, that's great. Humans can thrive on that, right? Humans do very well on that. And depending on the types of issues you had, you might only be able to do that. As far as Sean Baker saying you're ketovore, you're not I don't care what Sean Baker would say about me. I really don't. Sean Baker's a great guy. He's a good doctor. He's helped a lot of people. I mean, and he's like really fit, and he lifts the weights and does all those exercises and has won like all kinds of competitions and stuff. I get that. I'm not looking to win competitions and be a weightlifter. I'm coming from a 458 pound, fat guy is what I was. I was very unhealthy, very diabetic, very sick. I had multiple problems, bad knees, arthritis in my toes, just everything was wrong. And I'm feeling a whole lot better, right? But I still have this blood pressure problem, and I'm working my way through that. And we've discovered that we think it's due to lead toxicity. I have blood poisoning. I'm going to see the hematologist today. So I'm working my way through that. But it's also because it's been high for so long, and now those muscles around all those veins are very stiff, and it's going to have to be dropped down for a long time to let those get more flexible and pliable. So over a long term, I might be able to come off of some of that medication. But for now, I'm eating the salad. I'm having some vegetables. I'm having some spaghetti squash, but I'm making my own Alfredo dressing, and so I'm doing different things, but I'm still being really mindful to keep it very clean keto and very heavily carnivore based. The other day I had breakfast. I had bacon, eggs, butter, and beef. That's about as carnivore as it gets for me. I still eat shrimp. I still eat chukras. Still eat hamburger. I eat a lot of meat. In fact, I'm probably, if you could say, if you eat 75% meat, you're still a carnivore. I probably would be a carnivore according to you, but I'm not as carnivore as I used to be. And even when I was carnivore, I still had green beans once in a while. I still had some broccoli every once in a while. I still had a few things. What I did notice when I was carnivore is that when I would eat vegetables all of a sudden, or a big serving of vegetables or a big tomato serving, I would get inflamed the next day. But when I eat a little bit of those things every day, the inflammation goes away. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling better than ever. And I am eating salad. I am eating some low carb veggies. And I'm doing well, and I'm still only eating once or maybe twice a day. Probably probably about 50-50 is once a day versus twice a day. Sometimes I'm hungry for breakfast, and sometimes I wake up and I don't want breakfast, and I really never eat a lunch, and then I have a dinner, and usually my dinner will include a salad and some meat. So it just depends. But I'm feeling better than I felt in a long time. And still, as far as all the stuff that's related to diabetes. Now, they took my A1C in the hospital 2 months ago when I had my stroke, and it was a 10. I'm like, whoa, really? It's a 10? I'm having a hard time believing it's 10. They took it a month and a week, about five to 6 weeks after I got out of the hospital. They took it again, and it was a 6.1. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that was right. They took my cholesterol in the hospital. It was my LDL was 121. I had taken it a couple months before that. It was 117. They keep saying statins. I'm like, no, I'm not doing a statin. So that's the one medication that I just refuse to take. And, I basically told my neurologist, like, you can write me a prescription for statins. I can even take it and get it filled if you need it to look like it got filled. But it's going in my trash can. And so, I'm just not doing a statin. And my cholesterol, what it used to be considered more than healthy and normal, and now it's considered moderate. I don't know. but my triglycerides are really low. I don't know what they were on this last test. I didn't ask the doctor, but before, my triglycerides were 35 and my HDL was an 87. And so that would have been like 4 months ago now. So I'm happy with that. I just have this chronically high blood pressure that I'm dealing with right now, and I want to keep it down so I don't have another stroke, and it's worth taking medication that gives me constipation and having to deal with that constipation. So I'm down to where now I only get constipated, 3 or 4 days, and I take 1 X-Lax pill and I go. And, I'm fine with that, with adding the salad every day. So that's all I got for now, folks. I got to get to the hematologist. My mom is going to be here soon to pick me up and take me. So I'll talk to y'all later. It's Tom, your Frugal Prepper.